Yo, that's it. Oh, Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ayom Tatsat. Ishavasya Upanishad, Slok number 8. We last time did half of it and will continue from it. So let us go and enjoy the sloka number 8.
Saparyagat Chukramakayamakranam Snaviram Shuddhamapapaviddham Kavirmanishi Paripusvayambhur Yatha Tathyaturthan Yadatha Chashvatibhya Samabhyaha.
So what you see here, the half of this first half of the slok number 8, Saparigat Sukram Akayam Avananam Asnaviram Suddham Apapa Vidvam. So the word is Sa is he who. Now he who, to understand this, will very briskly take slok number 7. So slok number 7, this is how it will sound like first.
Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhutvijanataha tatra ko mohaka shoka ekatvam anupashyataha.
Yasmin sarvani bhutani. At this stage in the game, at this stage when the person is realized, or when person reaches to the enlightenment, what really happens is sarvani bhutani, entire universe feels like one to him or her. That divine soul, the realized soul, it so happens that he feels everything in him and he is part of inseparation. So that is when he says, Tatra ko moha. Kaha moha, moha, lust, pleasure, attraction. There is nothing, because everything outside of him are the objects. So he is not at all attracted. And the reason he is not attracted because he feels that Everything else other than him is object. It is not the self or the consciousness. So, Sa Parigat, now let's go back to this first half of it, which we did. Sa Parigat Sukram, Sukra, the brilliant, most powerful, most potent, the extract, whichever way you look at it. Akayam, Kaya, the body. Akayam, one who is bodiless. Avarnam, Varna, we know that it's a separating identity with which person comes to know that John is different from Jim, or Susan is different from Margie. So what here, each one, that is a varnam, that is separation. So here it's and what they say here, faultless. There is no fault of separation. You don't take fault to be shortcoming. Asnaviram, detach. There is no connection. If it is connection, understand the word. If it is connection, meaning you and the universe are separate. That's how only two people can be connected, two elements can be connected. And as a result also, Shuddham, pure. There is nothing that makes it up. Apapa Vidvam, ultimate, supreme. That is it. Nothing more than that. So this is how far we did last time. And now, here, understand what the translation of the half of this is. It does realize soul. The first letter, the first word is Sa. But he acquires that state of enlightenment, which is extremely brilliant, which is bodiless, and there is no separation, faultless, detached, apapa vidvam, and suddham, pure divinity. Now let's look at the other half of it. This one, kavihi manisi paribhu swayambhu yathat arthan vedatat saswatibhya samabhya. What does each of those words mean? Kavihi, the seer, one who sees. Manisi, thinker, contemplator, knower. Paribhu, all pervading. Swayambhu, the self-evolving. In other words, it is self-evolutionary person or the being. It does not depend upon somebody else to evolve him or somebody else to so-called give birth to. And Arthan, the object, Vedatat, gives birth to or creates or transforms. Saswati, lasting forever. Saswat, eternal. Samabhya, Samabhya, existing. And Yatat, Yatat, most appropriate, most deserving. So here you say, what do you mean by most deserving? Let's take just the word yatat, yatata, that is most deserving. In other words, first we have understood that the one Sahapadegat, that stage having reached, at which he doesn't have a body. He has body, mind you, but he has no attachment to the body and faultless, akaya, avaya, avarnam. So because he feels so much one with Sukram, most brilliant, and that state, those qualifications having had, then here when you say most appropriate. So in other words, that body is most appropriate for this experience to happen. That faultless identity is also most appropriate for it being Kavihi Manishi Paribhu Swayambhu. So this one, the having had this kind of body and the environment suitable, as you progress further, as you reach to a state of self-realization, and little things to be understood when in the previous part he was saying faultless awarenam. Now, bear in mind, awarenam means he or she does not see any difference. As a result, he or she never distinguishes that he is realized and the others are not. So that is awarenam. That's a difference. He or she never thinks that I do not have appropriate body. Body is just a vehicle. So don't think that they will have a lot of siddhi. They may well have it. And that too, those siddhis are truly not siddhi for him, but for his journey further. So the other experiences, you need to have a suitable body. So don't think that those who are realized, sometimes we get blinded by that person may be levitating, meaning staying up above the ground. Person can be sleeping on the fire. Person can be without food and water for X number of days. Person can stand on the head for X number of hours. These are not the matter of self-realization. They can do, but they are not interested in it because they are beyond the body. They are not interested in receiving a plaque saying that, John Doe has been realized. Because Avarnam, understand the point. Every single word here is so important. So in that light, we can say, those who say are realized, they definitely are not. Because moment they declare that they are realized, that implies that you are not realized, but he is realized. That means what? He is separating himself from yourself. That means what? Varnam. So he is not a Varnam. Then a Suddham, Suddham, moment when he is saying that you and I are different, what does the word different mean? If they are brought together, both can be separated easily because one is Ashuddha as compared to the other one. And I'm not saying the one who has realized is Ashuddham and one who is not realized is Suddham or otherwise, but they are different. So the two elements being unlike cannot be combined together. And putting together Kavihi Manishi, we can categorize that as Buddha, Buddham. Now, Buddha, what is Buddha? The enlightened being, and which is definitely a big seer. What he sees, we cannot see. And when I say see, not necessarily with the charma chakshu, that means the regular eyesight that all of us we have. And he doesn't have to see anything. The truth which has been revealed to him, that is part of the Buddhatva, that he does not have to see anything. Everything comes to him. So he is the seer, but this is internal seer. All the time what happens is we are attracted, we are also seer, mind you, but our seeing is outside of us. Our seeing is distracting seeing. Our seeing is different from what we are. Our seeing creates kayam. It's not a kayam. It also causes a varnam. Varnam. Varnam means fault, differentiation. So every word is intertwinable. So when you say Suddham, Suddham does imply it to be Buddha. And when you say he is Buddha, that implies Akayam. Also implies Avarnam. So this sloka defines the stage of, let me come out of it. So this particular sloka defines the evolved state, the state of evolution, the state as a person becomes seer. We all are seer, but what he is seer or she is seer and us are, we use this eyes to see the outside thing as a matter of curiosity. What he sees, he does not see out of curiosity, but out of compassion, out of appreciation, out of Buddhatva, out of purity. And to him, that is not curiosity, but that's the Vishmay. He knows that he will never find it. And still, he has already found it. And what he has found it, Suddham, meaning it is pure. And sometime in past when we have talked about that everything is gold. When everything is gold, and that too 24 karat, what do you think? Suddham state, that means the seer, the thinker, the contemplator, and the universe, there is no demarcation, there is no separation. This is just oneness. It is so important. And the thing is, when you start looking for it, now I'm shifting a little bit to the sadhana point of view. Do not ever ask Supreme, that when would I be one with you? Do you think that it is Supreme's decision that you become one with? On the contrary, Supreme should ask you, because moment the general qualification being Akayam Avanam, ask ourselves how much we love our body, how much we want to identify, separate from the rest of the world. And if 5 people tell you that you are realized, you're not happy because you are realized, but you are happy because those 5 are not realized. Varnam, separation, identity. So these points are so important. Unless and until the uniformity is developed, unless and until person watch oneself, reminding oneself that what is this identity? Moment you identify or allow others to identify, what really happens is you are creating varnam, separation. And so in today's modern day and age, and pardon me, I do not mean to criticize anybody. But there are some nice saintly people to whom people, their devotees, are worshipping as God. At least I do not want you to go that path. They are also human beings. Yesterday I was seeing a saintly person being quadrant and being escorted with hundreds of people and security, so to say. When you are Suddham, when you are Akayam, when you are Avarnam, what security? This is all external show. This is an external identity. And this identity, not only you allow it to happen, but it is sponsoring your ego. And your ego will love it because you are different than anybody else. Varnam, separation. And again, please do not criticize anybody. But the reason I'm sharing this beauty with you, because with my heart I love you, and I'll let you know, Ishavasya is not an ordinary script. It is so profound, so deep. And it is profound and deep, but it's an excellent guide for our sadhana. Throughout, it will never say that thou shalt do that. I am just taking this liberty as your friend to explain to you that what a beautiful guide of the tool for upasana, worshipping, admiring, appreciating, gratifying. So to qualify ourselves to be Sa Padya God, So wonderful, so wonderful. And my suggestion is all of you, you have, because I have earlier sent out all the slokas. And I don't even have to send it. You go to Google and just typing Ishavasya Upanishad, you have it. And you may also have English explanation, translation. So at least once a week or so, my suggestion is just contemplate on the translation and watch yourself, check yourself so that you never separate yourself from others. The whole idea is to feel oneness, faultlessness. Universe and you are not different. A drop of water is not separate from the ocean. A spark of light, a spark of fire is not separate from the base flame. And understand that spark of light has its existence because of the source, the flame, and the drop of water has its existence because of the ocean. Our existence is because of the supreme reality. And we are not separate from the supreme reality. But your mind, your ego, and your external social identities or society impose, and we are part of the society. Society imposed identity makes you fully aware all the time that you are different from everybody else. On one side, in the part of sadhana, you prefer to dissolve that identity, but internally, we want to darken the image of identity. We want to have the fault recognized. Fault means don't use it as a fault. Fault means discontinuity, like earthquake fault. So the discontinuity. Do your best. As and when you have the opportunity to be silent, look into the identities which you are not, and remind yourself. That does not mean you leave your responsibility. Again, understand. Just remind yourself who you are not. Responsibility is one thing, and the vehicular attachment is different. So bear in mind and understand well. Sloka number 8 is so powerful. As a matter of fact, each one of those. Okay. And now, even though we are going to slok number 9, that doesn't mean we will not go back to 7, 8, 6, or even the first sloka. Because Everything is so continuous. Everything is so interdependent. Because even if we separate, say, sloka 9 from number 1, the very fundamental of Ishavasya idam sarvam is lost. So this sloka are for our understanding only. Allow me to go to sloka number 9. Could you see sloka number 9? One of you could say.
Yes.
Thank you. Sloka number 9, 10, 11, 12, they may look very similar. And superficially looking, one may consider it to be so contradicting that what does it say? And let us hear the verse.
अन्धं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये अविद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमोय विद्यायां रतः
Andham tamaha pravishanti yeh vidyam upasate. Andham, blinding, andha, blind, tama, tamas, darkness, pravishanti, pravesh, entering, ye, all this, such as this, avidyam, untruth, vidyam, the truth, the knowledge, upasate follows. Tat, that or similar to it, bhuya, deeper, eva, as if they, those who are avidya, meaning they are believer in the untruth. And we'll talk about it, what is untruth and what is vidya. Vidya also refers to knowledge. Tama, darkness, u, even, vidyayam, truth or the knowledge, rata, rut, that is enter deeper darkness. So this, if you see it, what he says, andam tam pravishanti ye vidyam upasate. Those who are upasat of vidya, those who believe in vidya, they are avidya, those who are, and roughly translation, who are ignorant, they enter into the darkness. Yeah, avidyam upasate. But those who believe or enter into the state of vidya, the knowledge, they are even in deeper darkness. So we say, what kind of sloka is this? Ignorance is a darkness, understandable. But this sloka number 9 says that those who know knowledge are in a deeper darkness. So we may wonder, why bother? Huh? Let's just see the translation. Those who follow the path of avidya enter into blinding darkness. More than that, those who follow the path of vidya also enter into great blinding darkness, greater or the darker darkness. Having just gotten the translation, let us see what is vidya and avidya. Okay. Vidya and avidya. Those who know that they know, and those who don't know, they don't know. But what is avidya? The one who does not recognize the self, the true consciousness, that you are consciousness. When that thing is not recognized and they identify themselves with the body, so you can say they are ignorant, avidya. And those who know that they are consciousness, that means identifying oneself as the consciousness, as the spirit, Atma, Jivatma. Those are vidyaman, they are vidya. That means that is knowledgeable, that's knowledge, it's not ignorance. But what does the sloka say? That those who are ignorant, we definitely know that they are in darkness. And we'll come to it in a minute, explaining what is the darkness and why darkness. And then we'll go to the one who identifies oneself with consciousness. Those who have realized it, who not realized, those who know that they are Atma or they are consciousness, they are even far deeper darkness. First, let us understand the first half of it as to why ignorant people are in darkness. Darkness, ignorance. So when we identify ourselves with with kayam and with varnam, previous loka. Kaya, body, varnam, separation. I'm an engineer, you're a doctor. I'm tall, you are not tall. I'm handsome, you are not, or blah, blah, blah. So those who do not identify with their qualification, I'm referring to the seventh sloka. One who, and why that happens when we do not identify ourselves, or when we do not Recognize is also not. When we do not experience anubhuti, that we are the consciousness, in that case, if you ever go to a funeral and you find out that such and such person was your best friend, then you will feel sorry, you will cry, and your health may even be spoiled. But if you knew that you are the spirit, you are the consciousness, and so was he. We all are, but we do not recognize it, and definitely not experience for sure. So as a result, they feel sorry, they feel painful, they feel misery, and as a result, the darkness of avidya is the cause for the misery. So all of us would like to have happiness only and no pain or pleasure. But when the saints and seers and the Upanishadic rishis, when they're telling us, Ishavasya idam sarvam. But we learn and we also speak Ishavasya idam sarvam, Ishavasya idam sarvam. But that is our parallel chanting. Even when we go to somebody's funeral, that's an opportunity, I think, to realize that today is his body, tomorrow will be my body too. And then sit in silence and know that if I separate myself from kayam, sariram, and if I separate from varnam to avarnam, I'm using the 8th sloka's word. And I'm separating from asuddham to suddham. Sit, dive deep into the contemplation and think as to really what is akayam, what is avarnam, what is suddham, and keep on reminding. And not only you are avarnam and you are akayam, you are suddham, but so the whole world is. That reminder. This is sadhana, dear friend. You can have Ram Nam Mala hundreds of times, and that is also not bad. Someday we'll talk about it. But at this stage in the game, I would like to suggest that what is sadhana? Why we have been insisted to do dharana? Just focusing on one element. And that later on, let that element be avidya. Realize that the ignorance. Realize that is wrong identity. Realize that that's a fault. Fault, varnam. Bodily identified, kayam, akayam, avarnam. So please do not just take those words and one may memorize the whole thing. Memorization will help you to contemplate on your own. Even in the lunch hour, you get 10 minutes and you have nothing to do. Please do not turn on radio. Do not listen to the news. Do not listen to the traffic. It's there, it's there. But just sit in silence and contemplate. Contemplation, manishi, understand, manihi, kavihi, manihi. What is that? What is contemplated? What is meditated? That needs to be contemplated upon. And even if for a moment our monkey mind shifts, takes you to another aspect of it, vikshepa, then bring it, back to your branch. And what I mean by branch, we being monkey, we got onto a branch of a tree. And if the other branch of another tree is outside, then the monkey would like to go and grab the other branch and jump onto the other, then jump onto the other. That is monkey brain here. For a moment ago, you wanted to see what is the traffic. Then you just immediately says, oh my God, is it going to be in 90s or 100? What difference? It's the mother nature. And what he says, what? Jagatyam Jagat, first loka. And what difference will it make whether it is 80 or 100? You're sitting in air-conditioned car, you're sitting in air-conditioned office, you're sitting in air-conditioned house. If nothing else, the fan is on. And you are one of the very lucky ones who have this. There are people who have no roof over their head and they are sleeping. Long ago, when I was returning from my brother's place, I was at an intersection of the two streets, and I saw at that corner the sewer, the storm sewer was making a turn. So there was a parapet wall about 3 feet height and about a foot wide. And at that time, at that night was only 115-degree temperature. Mind you, it was a storm-drained sewer, so it wasn't fragrant anyway. And that being a sewer and moist environment, there were enough mosquitoes, but still one guy was sleeping on that curled parapet wall. And as I was passing by, I could hear his snoring. So to say, where is he listening to the news that is it going to be 110 or 90 degrees or 80 degrees? To him makes no difference. And that way, block your mind not to go from one branch to the other branch, monkey jumping. And just observe that and remind yourself that what am I doing? And every time you will feel that it is 115 degree, that means kayam, that means body. Every time you remind yourself that it is a stinking smell of the sewer, kayam, that means body. Every time you feel the mosquitoes biting you, kayam, body, you are identifying it. That doesn't mean that your body must not feel it. But if your awareness is at a higher stage, higher self, then this will not bother you. So the slokas are not just sloka, dear friend. Apply it. So, avidya, ignorant of one's own self. Avidya. Avidya means that, I have not gone to the college and I don't know what is computer and what is mathematics. So you can say I'm ignorant, but am I ignorant of the biggest ignorance, and that is of the self? So when this sloka refers to avidya, avidya is that. So as a result, you are in darkness, and darkness means suffering, ignorance. But then the second part, this can be easily understandable, that when you are ignorant of your true nature, you suffer, you feel miserable, you are in darkness. But the second part says that even if you are aware, or even if you know what is the vidya, but you are in a deeper darkness. Oh my God, what is it? What is that knowledge? And that knowledge is, you will love and you contemplate on it. That knowledge is, I know that I know. Let me repeat what I said. That vidya is the one that I know that I know. As soon as you see that I know that I know, your fertile mind is identifying itself with the knowledge of self, different adjectives and different identification, so that I can give a nice talk to all of you. And I can explain what is akayam, what is avananam. And all of you may think, oh my God, Swamiji gave such a beautiful lecture. He is the Vidya holder for sure. But let me tell you, giving lecture is one thing, and doing sadhana and self-experiencing is another. So, but now, why does the Rishi say that he or she is in a deeper darkness? As my father used to say, and you might have heard it many times, if I'm fast asleep in one of our scripture, Kumbhakarna, one gentleman, was considered to be a big sleeper. Even if you are a big sleeper, still someday somebody can wake you up. Somebody can pour water on you, shake you up, and various things. But if you are pretending to be asleep, you're awake, but you're pretending, you're showing as if you are fast asleep. Then who can wake you up? That is Vidya. Sloka number 9 is talking about. So you can have it, awareness, and you go on contemplating and feel the identity, less identity. Experience that there is no difference between you and the barking dog outside, or a plant outside, or a mosquito, or the air, or the mountain. Everything is Isha. What was the first quarter of the sloka? Isha Vasya Idam Sarvam. When that experience happens, and that experience, Sanskrit word is not Anubhava, but it is Anubhuti. Because it is you who is experiencing yourself. And that is the true wisdom. At that time, you will not be saying, I know that I know. You will also not say that I don't know what is to be known. You will say nothing. That also doesn't mean being silent. You will be realized. But there is what is to be said and to whom. You being a drop in the ocean, and every single drop in the ocean, if you compare to that, that is another drop when you are another drop, avidya. But you realize that drop to be the ocean. And in that light, Kabir has said it so beautifully. बुंद समाई सागर में ये सब जाने कोई, सागर समाया बुंद में जो जाने सो विरला होए. Meaning, Bunda Samayi Sagar, every drop will go and merge into the ocean. That everybody knows. But when the Bunda, meaning the drop, does not see any difference between itself and the ocean, meaning the entire ocean has been in that drop, characteristically. That who knows is the Viral, is the Kavi, is the Manishi, is Isha, is the contemplator. And that is where he will never say that I am Sagar. Why does he have to say Sagar? Why does he have to say he is the ocean? Because everything is ocean. What he says is also the ocean. The words are ocean. If at all you are a listener, and you are listening is also the ocean. So what he has to say at that time, there is nothing to talk about. So remember, we were studying and we have heard many times, silence is not to talk, but the silence is not having anything to talk. So, dear friends, I will stop here. We'll continue further to slok number 10 next time, and we'll still be swinging between those slokas because you know that I have not even gone further those 4 words, Ishavasya Idam Sarvam. Let us observe a minute of silence. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat.